Talking with the Experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson and today my guest is Christine Innes. And Christine is the CEO and founder of the Corporate Escapists. And she showcases people all around the world who have escaped the corporate world to follow their passion and live their best life. They take a peek behind the curtain on what it is like starting their own business, their biggest struggles and triumphs, and their best advice for anyone wanting to follow their dreams and live life on their terms. Welcome, Christine, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much, Rose, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about the Corporate Escapists.
Yeah, well, I'll just take you a little bit back because it all started from me sharing my personal story. So I worked in the corporate world, but I had a not so gracious exit. So 5 years ago, I got very sick. I needed to stop work and realized that was sort of the catalyst for all of the things starting to crumble around in my life. So I was broke, I was broken. I left a very toxic marriage and even ended up having to file for bankruptcy. And as I sort of went on my personal journey, I realized that, I want to do something now that really lights me up and being inspired. So I started sharing my personal story and realizing that there's so many people out there who have escaped the corporate world and probably done it in a lot better way than what I did. So the Corporate Escapists started, and we started off with a web TV show on our YouTube channel. We then also have turned that into a podcast, and this year we launched our online magazine, the Corporate Escapists magazine as well, which is very exciting.
Wow, that is exciting. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a bit of a long way from being a corporate chick, I suppose. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's quite a big change. However, I mean, I'm very grateful because the 20 odd years that I spent in corporate world, I learned so many skills that I've been able to really transfer into my business as well.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, I started 2014 offering admin services because that's all I'd done for 35 years. So yeah, that's transferred really well, and then I've learned new skills along the way. So now I do other things because I had to pivot this year because of COVID and everything. So yeah, it's been a really exciting journey for the last 6 years. So yeah, but I do understand what the corporate world's like, and I understand too about being a temp. I hated that lifestyle. It was just so uncertain, and I didn't make a very good temp because I always wanted to go and change something.
Yeah, well, even in my management jobs, like I wanted to change things, but obviously I couldn't. So now I'm very fortunate that, I am the boss, so I get to change what I want to. So
Absolutely. So what kind of, what kind of people are you helping with your business?
Yeah, look, we really help. I guess there's two key, types of clients that we work with. One of them is obviously people that have been sort of sitting on the sideline thinking that they want to escape, and majority of them want to start their own business. So we help them with that. We offer coaching services, but we also offer an amazing package where we help them get their business visible by helping them with their branding, their website, and really giving them that global exposure as well by writing articles on our blog. And then in addition to that, they get an article printed in the magazine as well. And, being a global magazine, it really sets them up for success as well. The other part is that we work with businesses that, really want to share their story, and you don't have to have been in the corporate world, but it's really about people who have said that, I've had this passion, this desire that's been sitting inside me, and I finally actually put and bet on myself and took that leap of faith and have started a business. And we interview them to really share their story. And like I said, peek behind that curtains and really talk about, the real stuff that is the struggles, the triumphs. And, it's not easy starting the business. And we really want to be real and actually share all of that with people as well.
Yeah, that's a great concept because people really don't know what it's like starting a business and the trials, and they spend all this money on things like that. They really don't need a website when they first start, and they get their business cards and they do all that stuff, and when really that should come later. It's getting your foot in the door, so to speak, is more important, I think, than all those other peripheral things that come with having a business. I mean, a website you could do in 12 months' time, because unless you're an e-commerce business, if you're a service-based business, really you don't need a website first up. That's my belief anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we take them through a sort of a journey, and that can be a short time, it could be like 4 weeks, depending on how ready they are. But one of the key things that we really offer is some coaching. So I have incredible coaches now that work with me, and they actually get you ready for success, because so many times people who go, I want to have a business, but there is a mindset shift that you need to make to be able to get yourself visible, to get yourself seen. And we really work with you to make that happen, so that when you are now featured on a global stage with the corporate escapists, then you are actually ready to receive those clients and be comfortable within yourself, and then obviously really confident with promoting yourself as well.
Yes, it takes I don't know, people think that it takes like $1 squillion to start a business, but you can really start a business with, very little if you've got the right, as you say, mindset behind you, and you've got the will to do it, and you've got, I guess, the perseverance. I think perseverance is key. You need to follow your dream. If it's a dream, you need to, go on with that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I started my business with $0, and there's so many free available services. So, Facebook, it's free to put up a Facebook business page. We obviously started with a TV show, so it's free to have a YouTube channel. In saying that, I have a quote that I came up with, because I'm such a big believer in the law of attraction. But one of the things is that just by dreaming is not enough. You need to have action. So my quote is, dreams plus action equal the reality. And that action part is also the mindset. It's also making sure that you show up every single day and you go after that dream. And as your business builds and you build that traction, then you can actually start looking at other different services, such as your website, getting your branding done. But just having that dream sometimes is just not enough. You've really got to put that action into it to really make it become a reality.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Without the action, you can't, and you need to show up, and you need to be consistent. What is your advice for people, though, that get a little bit disheartened because, they're working, stupid hours every single day, and, they're not seeing anything? It's crickets all the time. What's your advice on that, even though they are trying very hard to be seen?
Yeah. First of all, is that with the wonderful world of the internet, we never know who's watching us. And it's, something that I still, get, surprised with every day. Get people reach out to me going, hey, I've been following you for 6 months, but, they may never have liked or commented on a post. So the first piece of advice, ignore the numbers. Literally just continue showing up authentically. And that is the key, because people can start seeing through people who are not authentic. So if you're showing up as yourself, really being true and speaking from the heart, you will attract your clients. And sometimes it is a waiting process, but as I said, we now work with people and put like a social media package and all of that together with them to help them sort of be aligned in the message that they want, and then in addition to that, to help them actually show up authentically.
Yeah, I sometimes get a little bit disheartened, and you're right, forget the numbers, forget about the comparisonitis, and don't go there. Someone else's journey is their journey. It's not your journey.
Yeah. And there's only one of you. Like everyone keeps saying to me, oh, you want to be like Oprah. And I'm like, going, no, I don't. I said, because I just want to be Christine. Like, there is only one of me, and I'm not trying to be anybody else. For so many years, even in the corporate world, I had all of these masks and labels on me because I thought that I had to show up a certain way. But honestly, if you just show up with yourself, and it's really hard, it's really scary, because people are going to see the warts and everything like
Yes.
that, but we are, flawed individuals, and that just makes us so beautiful and unique.
Absolutely. And, I've had comments to say, oh, Rose, I've seen you posting everywhere. You're so visible. And I didn't even realise that they were watching. So you were right in what you said. You don't know who's watching you.
No, it just keeps showing up. And remember your why, like why you're doing it. We all have this sort of purpose as to why we're doing it. My why is I never want somebody to have to go through all of the struggles that I've gone through, throughout my life. And I share them all with people because I had, little warning signs that I didn't listen to. So now I want to encourage people to sort of listen to them as well. But also too, the fact is that, it's your story and we need to own it. And there's such a big power of owning your own story.
Absolutely. I agree. And, as you say, we're all flawed in one way or another, and we all need to be true to ourselves and show up authentically because, telling lies or, being false or wearing a mask is just, someone's going to find you out.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
really are.
Yeah. And it's hard work too. Like if you find yourself really tired at the end of the day, and I'm not just, it's the emotional sort of tiredness. It's probably because you're not showing up as yourself, because it's really easy to show up as yourself. So when you're around your friends and the family, you find that you've got so much more energy. But if you're in an environment where you're not being who you are, not speaking your truth, that's actually really draining because you're actually suppressing so much of it. So show up as you. It's the scariest thing that you'll ever do because people actually get to see the real you. But in saying that, it is actually easy. Like it makes life so much more easier.
Okay, so in saying that, what would be your advice, I guess, on people who are posting on their business Facebook page, personal stuff? Do you believe that business and personal are separate, or are they intertwined?
I think it depends on the business. For me, I share my personal stuff because obviously the Corporate Escapists came from me sharing my personal story of how it all came. And, I think there is a way that we can deliver it with it. And if you're sharing your story to inspire people, and if you give them actions of what you've taken to be able to overcome that, I think that's the way to do it because, for example, I would share with people that, I left a toxic marriage. And that is also part of the story of how the Corporate Escapists came about. And I will share them about all the things that I've had to go through. But in addition to that, I give them, some tips of what I've learned to be able to help rebuild myself after that as well.
Yeah, I think if you've gone through personal trauma or personal trials, I think sometimes it makes you more determined to do your business, be in your business, because you've been there, you've seen it, and it just makes you a bit more. I think it makes you stronger if you go about it the right way and you take from those lessons, because there's no failures, there's only life lessons, I reckon.
Exactly. I literally just wrote a post about that today. And it is, somebody asked me a question was, what would you go back and say to yourself, like, 10 years ago? And the fact is that I wouldn't change any of those sequence of events because it's actually made me into the person who I am today. And I freaking love who I am. Like I am still learning and growing every single day, but I've now built a business of my dreams. I'm building a life of my dreams. So if those events hadn't happened, then I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yep, absolutely. And, people that say that they would change something, even if it was a bad marriage, bad childhood, bad whatever, you wish it had have been different, but realistically they have made you the person you are, and that makes you unique because you've gone through those trials. So any advice for someone? I mean, I know that's what your business is, so what's some key points that you could say to a startup?
Find your why. So really work out why you want to do this business so that your passion really starts to shine through.
So how do they do that? How do they find their why? I mean, they've got an idea.
Yeah.
It's really great, but but what's the why? How do they find that? How do they narrow that down? So, because I know it can be quite a large project to find your absolute why.
Yeah. And look, it may take 6 to 12 months for you to actually find your why. But every time you start thinking about, why do you want to start the business? Let's just talk about that. Is it because that you want to have, more time to spend with your family? Is it because you want to have an additional stream of income? So that could just simply be part of your why. And then it could also turn into as to how you want to serve your clients. What are the type of clients you want to be serving, and what's the outcome you're going to help them? So for example, if you make candles, it could be that you absolutely love having beautiful scents within your house and you couldn't find anything, so you wanted to create those for yourself, and that's going to give you an additional supply of income. But in addition to that, you're building something that you love seeing, people, light them up and, relax. They could meditate, like all of that forms a why. I don't think that there's one definitive way of doing it. There's multiple levels of it. And once you start to uncover that, write it down, put it up in front of your computer. So every single day you're reminded of that, because when you have those bad moments, that why is going to keep elevating you up to keep going.
Yep. So yeah, it's a bit like an onion. It has layers.
Yeah. Definitely.
I love Shrek.
Look, the biggest thing is that, as my business has grown, my why keeps expanding even more. My first why was literally, I just wanted to share my story. I wanted to inspire, even if it was just one person. And, I've been very fortunate. I can now take that onto a global stage. And, we have an audience of over 250,000, that, is following us, and that's incredible. And it's, all around the world. So my why now keeps changing. And as I add in new products and services, the why adds into it even more.
Yeah, that's a fabulous story. I mean, that's a great growth too, 250,000 people. Wow.
Yes. It's incredible in 12 months.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Very blessed.
Yes. So if we've got the why sorted,
Yeah.
what's about the niche or the avatar?
Finding your dream client, it really is about falling in love with your client. So I always say to people is that you need to be in love with your client or know them like they are your best friend, because a lot of the times we get so caught up with the types of products and services that we're offering and we forget about our clients. So if you know your client so well, like they're your best friend, that you're talking to them, it really sets you up for your website copy. It sets you up for your social media posts, because you're talking to them like they are your best friend. And they're like going, how do they know me? Like I get people all the time like saying to me, are you inside my head? Like, how do you know that this is me? And it's literally like, obviously a lot of the times I know the clients because it is the old version of myself. Yeah. It was me 5 years ago that I'm talking to.
Yeah. Okay. So the next step is your why, and then you've got your avatar. So what's the next step?
It's all about your personal growth. And the biggest thing that I can't preach enough to people is have your values, because your values are your foundation for not only for your life, but also for your business. Because if you don't stand for anything, you're going to fall for everything. So you need to have your set of own core values that you are very comfortable, like screaming them from the rooftop, that you can actually align your life and business to as well.
Yep. So give an example of a core value, of some core values maybe that people could, take away from that.
Yeah. Well, my first one is family. So, family means the world to me. So if something came up, I'm fortunate now that my son's all fully grown and, he's out doing his own thing. But, there was always a time where, I thought, okay, well, if something came up and it took me away from my family, then I knew that it wasn't going to be aligned to my values. So I'm very, family's one of them. Integrity is another one. So I only make sure that I work with people who have the integrity and, you know, that are also aligned to my values as well, because I show up as myself and that's what I want people to do. So if you want to come in with just going, I'm only interested in making money, I'm not interested in, you know, helping people, then that's not part of my values as well.
Yeah, I agree. Integrity is one of my key values. I practice it, and yeah, I expect others to be the same. I just integrity, honesty.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just it. Yeah, and family. Yeah, I'm the same. Love my kids
Yeah.
to bits. Love my husband to bits.
Yeah.
So if they come first.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think that's the thing, like we sometimes think that we have to compromise certain things. And, you know, if you have those values, so what I've been able to do is those values, you know, I live and breathe them. You know, and I will make now life and business decisions based on those values. So I always come back to them. But one of the other things that I've learned really quickly is that obviously family meant so much to me and I wanted to be there. And especially this year. So my son just had, you know, his first baby with his partner. So I've become a grandma, and it's sort
Are you
of
kidding me?
like,
My God, you don't even look old enough.
Thank you. But, you know, I'm making sure that, you know, I have systems and processes put in place so that if I actually want to, you know, go and help them or, you know, be there for them, that I know that those systems are working in the background. So you can actually work really smart by making sure that you're aligned to your values.
Yeah, that's another one about working smarter, not harder.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a grind at all. You know, you really can just take those baby steps with it and allow the business to evolve. Obviously, you know, there is certain times where, you know, yes, I do work, you know, sometimes 7 days a week. We've got, you know, the next magazine issue coming up and, you know, we're trying to make sure everything's all ready and we make our own deadlines. But, you know, there are so many ways that you can automate your business and to make it work for you. And as I said, you know, one of the other ones is, you know, your email marketing. Set that up. You know, you can use MailChimp for free. We've upgraded to a different system now, but at the start I used MailChimp, and, you know, as soon as somebody got a download, then it automatically sent out an email sequence. So it's working for you in the background without you having to run around going, oh, I've got to email this person today. I've got to do this today. So you can actually be a lot smarter in the way that you set things up.
Yeah. All right. So where can people find you, Christine?
Yeah, so they can find us on Facebook or Instagram at The Corporate Escapists, or you can head over to our website at www.thecorporateescapists.com.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to talking to you again soon, because you have such an interesting business and an interesting story.
Thank you so much.
I
I
love
absolutely
it.
love. I'm so blessed to, you know, get to do what I love every single day.
That's terrific. All right. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you so much, Rose.